All right, so here is April. This is what we're going to be drawing today. Get your paper out. We're looking at it, so it's the 0 lines up with the edge of the paper. It should read 11 down here on this. You're looking at the least amount of numbers. You're going to go over 2, 1, 2, 3 of the tick marks for 2 3/4 inch. You're going to do that again down here so that you can have again 2 3/4 inch. What this does is it creates our guidelines so we know our spacing for our width of our letters. Then we're going to zoom in because we want to make sure that we are getting everything in clarity here. Moment. All right, there we go. So April is really quite fun. It's all about weather and everything else. So we're going to start out here. We know that our A is going to be over here, and the A actually takes up quite a bit of space. It's not just a, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble here. It's not a small letter. So then we have the P, the R, the I, and the L. When we're looking at this, we want to have a guideline so that we know how much space to leave left over for our clouds. So I have about that much space up above. So it's relatively going down to here, those little tick marks. That's kind of the length it would be. And I'm very, very lightly going to draw my line across the paper. It's very, very light. That is just my guideline so that I know where my clouds are going to be. I know that most of my letters are going to be spaced below this line. So there's that. So we're going to start way over here. Note, we're pretty far over here. And it's going to come and it's going to go down like that. And then we're just going to have our A. The P is going to be here. And you don't want to draw too dark. The R, it's going to be at an angle because our rain will be at an angle, but it looks just like an R. The I, man, the I is super hard. I. And the L just looks like an L. That's just giving us our space. All right, so when we're looking at this here, we're going to be adjusting a little bit because I want my A to swoop just a little bit more. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to come over, and I'm going to swoop. I'm going to erase this here. I'm going to erase a little bit more. We're going to come up. Okay, just like that. Now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to bring this around like so. And then I'm going to add myself a leaf right there. There's that part of it. I'm going to erase all of this other stuff that I just don't need. And my A is going to come from all the way up over here. It's going to come down like that. My next part here is going to start here at the bottom, and I'm going to pull it up. My next one here, so I did this a little bit differently so that I could get it. I'm going to take this here, and I'm going to bring it out in a point like that. And then I'm going to have a line that I'm going to start all the way over here, and I'm going to draw it lightly till it goes all the way over. So this is actually a line that's going to keep with my bottom thing, and it's also going to be part of my crossbar. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to curl it around. I'm going to go right here up above, and I'm going to curl this and bring it around. I'm going to make it look like the leaf is in front of it. So this is a little different than my original, but that's okay. That's how it's going to look for this time. And I'm going to erase these two lines. And then I'm going to take this here line right here and just bring it up. There we go. I have this line that I'm going to erase because I don't need it. And I am going to erase a little bit here because I don't need either of those. We're going to have this here is going to come back right over here. It's going to come back this way. And then I'm going to bring it back out, curving that one just a little bit more. So I'm changing it a little bit. This gives me more of a twist when I'm doing this. So making this nice and dark. That was a terrible line. That's why we have erasers. And we're going to put a leaf right here. And this one here we're going to darken too. Going slow. There's that leaf. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more so it's easier to see, even more so. There we go. Even easier to see. That'll be good. So next, I have a leaf that just kind of goes this way. Why? I don't know. I just decided. So I'm going to have that leaf there. And that's just a line that just kind of goes in there. I'm going to have this here line that I did right here. That's going to be my other leaf that I have just coming down here. And I'm actually going to also continue this line but carry it down like that. So I'm going to change this one. See, I lied. So we're going to carry that that line right there, down there. And then I'm going to carry a leaf right here. We're going to make it. There's that. Now we're going to have one more leaf line over here. It is going to be starting right here. It's going to go up and back and there. Create a leaf on this end. Create a leaf on this end. And then I'm going to have a little leaf that's going to come right down here. And that is my A. Now my P, it's going to be my umbrella. So when I do this, I really do a sketching line because I want it to look nice. So I'm going to take my umbrella and I'm going to just draw kind of a half circle the best I can. If you want to trace something like a bottle cap, you're more than welcome to, if they're doing it at home. But I don't have anything here. So I'm going to erase all of my P skeleton. And I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3 scallops. To get my umbrella handle, I'm going to start right up here at the top, just above it. And I'm going to lightly sketch down, making a J. I'm going to darken that part and darken this part. It's going to go over the top, so it's a narrow letter. And again, we're going to just lightly sketch down. And then we're going to make the bottom part here. Just kind of trying to mimic it so it stays the same width the entire way. And I can erase this. Now, this kind of looks like a P, but I'm going to make it even look more like a P. I'm going to take this here and another one here, and we're creating raindrops off of those. There, in my mind, that looks like a P. Now, next one up is the R. I'm going to erase this, and it's kind of how you like it. Part of the R we won't be able to do because we need to have area for the cloud and we can't put that part in. So we're going to start here and I'm going to go with a nice long teardrop. And my raindrops, they're nice and long-tailed and skinny like this. So it actually looks like it's driving rain. We want to make it look like it is just raining down really hard. Decide however you want your raindrops to go on there. It is 100% up to you how you have them. Just, you know, pick them out, make sure you like them. So that is my raindrops there. I'm going to erase the skeleton, the rest of it. And then just like with my umbrella here, I'm also going to do my sketch for my rainbow part. So I am just kind of picking out where I think it will look good for my rainbow. Once I have my initial curve, I am going to mimic that another 3 more times. So if I were to color it, it would give me a 3-color rainbow. So you could do cyan, yellow, and magenta. Or you could do red, yellow, blue, depending on what ones you want to make it look like. And then, yeah, I do go over my raindrops, so that's okay. There we go. There is my rainbow. I'm not going to do the next part because, like I said, I need to have the clouds there. The next part here, though, is my lightning. So my lightning, I'm going to have kind of just start off with an angle, and it does go above. And then I'm going to come down, and it's going to be a narrow angle. And then I'm going to come back up and down. And this one, I'm going to have it be much higher. And then it's going to come back down. I'm going to erase my skeleton there because I don't need it. It just gets in the way. So this is coming down. And then we're going to come back up. And down. And we're going to go up one more time. And down to the line for this last one. This last part here is going to be here. We're going to go narrow. So I'm going to go a little bit below my line because I want to extend it a little bit. And then it's out like that. And then I'm going to do another line here. And then I'm going to have a line going this way. And then coming here. And then my last line. Well, actually, I'm going to do 2 here just because I want to make it look like that. So there's that one. That's how my line's going to look for my lightning bolt there. So that's my I. Yeah, it touches my R. Oh, well. Now, to make our tornado, we're looking at making a series of ovals. We're going to start off right here at that area with a nice, flat, wide oval. Okay? We're going to erase the L. And I'm actually going to flatten this top out just a little bit more. Like so. I'm going to draw my line here. And here. And back here. Now, if I were to get this valued in a little bit, that's where it starts to look like it's got a hole. So I have that. And then I'm going to erase this here part here. I know I can't see that very well. So I'm erasing that part so it looks like it's just right there. Then I'm going to take and make a small little divot like that. And then I'm going to make an actual bigger oval. So if I was doing an oval, it would all come in right like that. Then I'm going to do another one. It's going to be here. This one side's going to be really round. This side is not going to be quite as round. It's going to come out and kind of go down a little bit. But it's essentially an oval. I'm going to go a little bit smaller here. And again, I'm going to kind of go down for that. But this next one is going to come back out this way. And then it's going to be a little bit over here, out. I'm going to make a little curve back here. And then I'm going to make myself a little bump here. And then I'm going to go a little bit like that. And it's just a wavy line, however your wavy line is going to look. Over on this side, we're going to have a bump like so. And then we're going to have another little bump. And then we're going to kind of come around and make it turn around like that. Now, to make this look more like a twister, the idea is you are taking your lines and you're just drawing a whole bunch of lines that are going in and they're curving. It doesn't matter. You want them to have various lengths because a varied length helps it look like it's moving. But as you're going down, making it look like it's curving. And then you do the same thing on this side. It's got to have that look of curves. If you were to ink this in, you try and do these lines here a little bit thinner pen if you had one. You could also make that thinner looking mark by going lighter pressure on your black pen. So that's one way of getting it to look. This is just my version of a tornado. It's not probably the best, but it is going to be what it's going to work like. And then you have, of course, your inside here. And you have your tornado. I'm liking my tornado. I hope you enjoy it too. All right, now we're going to look at the cloud. So doing the cloud, I'm back over here next to my A. And I am going to go and I am going to start right here. I'm above the A. And I'm actually going to do a curve. And I'm going to pull it lightly through there. And then I'm going to pull it up. My next one is going to be starting here. And it's going to go down. Draw it through here. And then it's going to come over this way. And it's going to go that way. I'm going to try and draw these lines darker so you can see the difference between the cloud line and the lettering lines. So that way it should hopefully stand out to you. Next, I have a line that's going to come here. I'm going to draw it lightly at first, so it's going to go here. And I can go back in and make it darker. And it would come up here, through there. We're going to go right there. And then we're going to say, oh, there's another line right there. And this one's going to come down. I'm going to draw it lightly. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I drew this line here. And then I'm drawing here. I'm going to draw it lightly through here so I can create my curl. And again, just erase all that extra line that I don't need there. Like that. Then we're going to have another very tight curl right over here. So we're going to go make a full curl, have it come under and touch over there. And then I'm going to have right here in this area, I'm going to have another curl, and it's going to go right here, like that. And then I'm going to have a little bump here, and then another curl that comes around here. This here is going to connect here, that little arch. And then I'm going to have a part of my cloud that's going to come out a little narrow, like that. Up here now, I'm going to go and do a curve like that. And then I'm going to do a curve that's going to come from over here. And I'm going to go up and around. Because I am then going to do a curve there, and a curve there. I'm also going to do a curve here and a curve there. Moving over, I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to do a curl. It's going to come in like that. And then I'm going to connect those two like so. I'm going to have another curl that's going to be over here. And I'm going to go here, curve it around like that, so that I can make a little bulb here, a little blobble here, and a little bobble there. And then I'm also going to do one right back there, so it looks like it's going back in the distance. Moving along over. Between here and here, I'm going to make some moves. So I'm going to have a curl that goes here, little one here, and then this one here is going to go like that. And we'll just connect that there. Right up here, right above, I'm going to make another curl. And I'm going to bring it all the way over here. I'm going to create some curves up here to add more of that cloud coverage back there. So there's there. And there's that. Then I'm going to go over here. This is on my far end now. I'm going to have a line that's going to go down. And this is going to come back to curl like that. And then I'm going to have one more line that's going to go from here to there. This gives me all of my clouds. So I'm going to back up a little bit and see if we can't get that hole in the frame. So there is all of my clouds and my lettering. There's one thing I'm missing. It's my sun right here on my R. So I'm going to draw my sunshine. Now I'm going to have this here as a curve that's going to come down, just meet up like that. So there's my sun. And I'm going to do a couple of stylized spikes. It's going to go out and over here. There we go. That way I know that that's my sun. So that's the top part of my R. So that is how I do that. Now, let's talk about lettering space, boxes, and numbering it for the dates. We're going to erase all our guide letters, getting our handy dandy ruler. There are 14 spaces in the month of April that are Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. So I'm going to go here, line my 0 mark up with the edge, and I'm going to make a mark at the 2, the 4, and the 6. Push it down my paper, and do that again. The 2, the 4, and the 6. Draw my guide here. Go down. Down. And down. Rotate my paper. And again, 0 mark of the ruler lines up with my guideline, and it's a 2, 4, and 6. Pushing it down the paper, 0 lines up with my guideline for my spacing for my lettering, 2, 4, and 6. And right here, and right here, and right there. Now I have 16 spaces. I'm going to erase this first one. Give me a wider space there. And I'm going to erase the last one and give me a wider space there. Why? I don't know. I just did it that way. So our dates are going to be 1, 2, 13. We got President's Week in there, or spring break in there. 14, 15, 16, 20, 21, 22, 23, 27. Then we have 28, 29, and 30. April has 3 Fridays to it. So we just arbitrarily make 3 sections on the back of our paper. Whatever makes your little heart happy. And we are going to label these 3, 17, and 24. That is how we create April.